Hello, my name is Aasseneth Roldan, and my partners for this project are Alexis Martinez and Wolf as AI assistant. Our project is about genetically modified crops, and we will explain what GMOs are, their benefits, the risks to biodiversity, and health. Genetically modified crops are one of the most debated topics in sustainable agriculture. Supporters say GMOs can increase food production and reduce pesticide use, but critics worry about biodiversity loss, soil damage, and possible unknown health risks. In our project, we explore both sides and explain why careful regulation is important. Our research question is, do the benefits of genetically modified crops outweigh their harm on biodiversity and possible unknown health risks? This question guides our research. Because GMOs have both strong benefits and serious risks, and we wanted to understand which side has more impact. This question matters because many countries are using GMOs to increase food production, but people are worried about biodiversity loss and possible health effects. By asking whether the benefits outweigh the harms, we can look at both perspectives, compare evidence, and make a more informed conclusion about how GMOs should be used in the future. What are genetically modified crops? A genetically modified crop is a plant, animal, or microbe whose genome has been changed to alter its characteristics. For example, some plants are designed to resist pests or survive climate stress. Benefits of GMOs can increase crop yield and reduce pesticide use. Between 1996 and 2016, GMO corn increased yields by 5.6% to 24.5% compared to non-GMO corn. GMO corn also had lower levels of harmful toxins like mycotoxins and fumonisin, which can affect human and animal health. There are some concerns in environmental impact, even with benefits. GMOs raise concerns. To grow enough food for a larger population, more land is turned into huge fields of a single crop. This reduces biodiversity, affects soil health, and shows how humans continue changing nature for their own needs. Our poem is by Jory Graham, titled Poem. We first ask Wolf, the AI assistant, several questions to help us choose a poem that fit our topic. Wolf guides us by suggesting poems and explaining which themes connected to GMOs, such as human impact on nature and environmental change. After discussing different options, we decided that poem by Jory Graham was the best match. Once we chose the poem, we asked more questions to understand it deeply and to explore how it relates to GMOs. In the poem, the speaker tries to witness nature honestly, but even the act of watching creates a distance. This distance becomes a symbol of the human-earth relationship. We want to appreciate nature, but our actions always change it. This connects to GMOs because humans are not neutral in agriculture. We modify plants, landscapes, and ecosystems. Just like in the poem, our presence and technology reshapes the natural world even when our intentions are good. We also noticed that the poem highlights how difficult it is for humans to see nature without influencing it. This idea helps us think more critically about GMOs. Even when scientists create genetically modified crops to solve problems like hunger or climate changes, those changes still affect the environment in ways we cannot fully predict. The poem reminds us that every human intervention, no matter how helpful it seems, has consequences. By connecting the poem to our topic, we were able to understand GMOs from a more thoughtful and reflective point of view. It showed us that technology and nature are deeply connected, and that we should always consider the ecological impact of our choices. This helps us strengthen our project by adding a deeper, more meaningful perspective on sustainability and human responsibility.
Hello, my name is Alexis Martinez, and to keep going on with the show, one con of GMO crops is monoculture. To feed a growing population, humans have been turning biodiverse areas with numerous plants and animals living together to fields of a single crop species. Anytime you have a successful variety that everybody wants to plant, you inevitably reduce the biodiversity in farm fields. This practice of monoculture significantly reduces biodiversity by replacing complex ecosystems with uniform fields. The loss of biodiversity also makes the entire system more vulnerable to pests and disease, as they can spread more easily. The land also becomes depleted of nutrients and becomes dependent on fertilizers to stay productive. A second con of GMO crops is possible harm to human health. Some people express concern that eating GMO crops could pose unknown risks to human health. This is mostly because long-term effects are difficult to study with complete certainty, and in terms of time, GMOs have only really been around for not that long, so long-term health has not been a priority, or hasn't been long enough for it to actually be concrete studies. Subtle allergenicity, changes in nutrient composition, or interactions that only appear over long periods remain a topic of discussion. These concerns make it important to have rigorous testing, transparent regulations, and continued research to ensure that GMO foods remain safe. So our meme was just supposed to over-exaggerate how much we're manipulating GMOs for our own benefit. So this meme uses the rhetorical device of hyperbole to emphasize how humans are changing nature. GMO crops are a perfect example of humans manipulating nature for their own benefit. This manipulation of nature may come with benefits, but as the meme exaggerates, we are never sure of the outcomes of human activity until it is too late. Greta Thunberg's UN speech in 2019, and Greta Thunberg said, "We who have to live with the consequences." This quote connects to our message in that it emphasizes moral responsibility to future generations. In her speech, Thunberg covered how much CO2 our generation has to remove from the environment, even though it wasn't produced by us. This can be connected to GMO crops because it implies having to build a sustainable food production for a growing population without having to cut down forests for farmland. GMO crops can help us achieve that. Our AI dialogue journal quote, "The sustainability topic that matters most to me is food production for a growing population. With a growing population comes the need for more food. It seems like an uphill battle to be able to provide clean food for the whole world. A huge portion of the world does not have access to food how people in the United States do. GMO crops may help grow more food in places with harsh environments." Our call to action, as genetically modified crops become increasingly common in our food system, we cannot afford to treat their safety as an afterthought. We must demand strict, transparent regulations and long-term testing that evaluate not only the immediate effects, but also potential impacts on human health over time. It's the responsibility of policymakers and scientists to have standards that put public well-being before profit or convenience. Our health deserves nothing less. As a group, we learned that GMO crops are a very complex topic. We discovered that GMOs can help increase food production, reduce the need for pesticides, and support farmers in places affected by drought or pests. At the same time, we also learned that GMOs raise real concerns, such as environmental risks, loss of biodiversity, and possible long-term harm to human health. Understanding these different sides, helped us see that GMOs are not fully good or fully bad. They have benefits and challenges that need careful attention. Our reflection, this topic matters to all of us because food is a part of everybody's life. The choices we make about what we eat and what farming systems we support affect our health, our environment, and our future. Climate change is already making farming more difficult, so learning about GMOs helped us think about possible solutions and their consequences. Our group realized that listening to scientific research, farmer experiences, and community concerns helps us understand the whole picture. Studying GMOs taught us that informed decisions are important, especially when it comes to the food and environment we all depend on. And here's our works cited page. Reflecting back on this project, having AI and a partner really did help split up the work because AI helped us understand everything, and having a partner there to support you and bounce back ideas really helped a lot too.